Since the summer of 2022, all abortions have been banned in Texas, except to save the life of the mother. Well, in November, 20 women and 2 doctors sued Texas over the state's abortion laws, claiming they were denied abortion care for their medically complex pregnancies. In a special report this Friday, ABC senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott talked to several women from all across the country about their medical emergencies in states like Texas with strict abortion laws. She joins us live now to talk more about that special called On the Brink. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, Jenny, good to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you and Diane Sawyer spoke to 18 women from 10 states, all with harrowing pregnancy journeys. Every time I read about this, it just breaks my heart. So why is it so important to hear from them?
Well, Jenny, I could tell you, I remember being in your state, in Texas, when SB 8 first went into effect. At the time, it was the most restrictive abortion law in the country. And doctors warned us at the time that women would be hurt, that we would hear stories like we're hearing now, stories like Kate Cox, stories like the woman that you're going to hear in this special that comes out tomorrow. And so this is really a unique opportunity, and so much credit goes to Diane Sawyer, who had this idea to get 18 women all in one room to share the searing reality of what they went through, being denied medical abortions in their own states, many of them traveling to states that they had never been before, having to meet doctors that they did not know. And so this really pulls back the curtain on this hidden medical crisis that we are seeing play out all across the country.
Now, you also talk to doctors, not just patients. So what challenges did they encounter when trying to treat these patients?
We spoke to nearly 100 doctors over the course of our months-long reporting project, and even some doctors right there in Texas who told us that they could not have a direct and honest conversation with their patients. They told us that they are having a hard time navigating through this complex web of these state laws, and also that there's a little bit of fear here because, as you know, in Texas, doctors can face losing their license. They could face up to life in prison if they perform an unlawful abortion. And so they told us that they really feel hamstrung by these laws, and many of the doctors told us that they were either considering leaving. Some doctors even told us they made that difficult choice and decided to practice elsewhere.
And we saw that play out, Rachel, with the Kate Cox case, the pregnant Texas woman who wanted an abortion after getting that lethal fetal diagnosis. Her case went all the way to the Texas Supreme Court. So how does her case represent what other women are going through?
Yes, in Kate Cox, she was told that her uterus was at risk of rupturing, that her future fertility would be on the line. And then she was caught in this sort of whiplash, right, where one judge said that she was allowed to get that emergency abortion, and then the higher court stepped in and said that she wasn't able to. She ended up traveling out of the state to get that medical emergency abortion. But Kate Cox's story is not an anomaly. And what you will see in this special is you're going to see women that are just like Kate Cox from 10 different states all across this country. They're going to share a very similar reality of what Kate Cox went through, and they're hoping that when people hear these stories, that maybe the next woman may not have to go through it in their own states.
I have so many more questions, but we are out of time. Rachel Scott, On the Brink, airs Friday at 7 p.m. with Rachel Scott and Diane Sawyer. Rachel, thank you so much for your time.